Dear students, grade A. Let us start our session with Civics, Unit 7, the Judiciary. In this session, we are going to learn about evolution of the judicial system, the need for the independent judiciary, difference between civil law and criminal law. Evolution of Indian judiciary. Judiciary during ancient period. During ancient times, the concept of justice was linked with religion. The king was regarded as a fountainhead of justice. Most of the king's courts dispensed justice according to dharma, a set of conventional laws. Dharmic laws governed not only the individual but also the society. The republics of Ganas had their own system of law. We find the existence of Kulika's court. Among us, the Wajis, there was a board of 8 Kulikas for the investigation of criminal cases. Appeal proceeded from Kula courts to Gana courts. Judiciary during medieval period. The Tughlaq period saw the collection of the code of civil procedure. It was called Fiqh-e-Feroz Shahi. The code prescribed details of the procedure and the law in several matters. It was written in Arabic and was translated into Persian. It was followed till the rule of Aurangzeb, when it was replaced by Fatwa-e-Alamgir written in 1670. Judiciary during modern period. The Indian judicial system and laws we have today was formed by the British during the colonial rule in the country. The beginning of Indian codified common law is traced back to 1727, when the Mayor's Court in Madras, Bombay and Calcutta were established by the East India Company. Regulating Act of 1773 made provision for the formation of Supreme Court. A Supreme Court was established for the first time at Fort Williams in Calcutta. Sir Elijah Impey was appointed as Chief Justice of that court. In 1801 and 1824, Supreme Courts were established in Madras and Bombay. These Supreme Courts functioned until 1862, when they were replaced by the High Courts at all the three places. Warren Hastings established Mufassil Diwani Adalat to resolve civil disputes and Mufassil Fauzdari Adalat to resolve criminal disputes. The appeals from these courts could be taken to Sardar Diwani Adalat and Sardar Nizamat Adalat. Lord Cornwallis reorganized the civil and criminal judicial system. Under Cornwallis, in the district Fauzdari court was abolished and circuit court was set up at Calcutta, Dhaka, Murshidabad and Patna. During the period of William Bentinck, 4 circuit courts were abolished. Sardar Diwani Adalat and Sardar Nizamat Adalat were established at Allahabad. A law commission was set up by Macaulay, which codified the Indian laws. On the basis of this commission, a Civil Procedure Code of 1859, an Indian Penal Code of 1860 and a Criminal Procedure Code 1861 were prepared. The Government of India Act 1935 created Federal Court. It was not the highest court, as appeals could lie in certain situations to the Privy Council in England. The jurisdiction of Privy Council was established by the abolition of the Privy Council Jurisdiction Act 1949. The Supreme Court of India was inaugurated on 28th January 1950. Judiciary and Constitution. India framed its own constitution. Among the noble aims and objectives of the constitution, the founding fathers accounted the highest place to the justice. During British period, Indian had neither law nor courts of their own, and both the law and courts had been designed for the colonial power. The Constituent Assembly members therefore tried to ensure the independence of the courts with full power of judicial review. Supreme Court Rules 1966 are framed under Article 145 of the Constitution to regulate the practice and procedure of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India is the highest court of the land as established by Part 5 under Chapter 4 titled The Union Judiciary and Part 6 under Chapter 6 titled Subordinate Courts of the Constitution of India. Articles 124 to 147 of the Constitution of India lay down the composition and jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of India. Role of the judiciary. Role of judiciary can be classified as dispute resolution, judicial review, upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Dispute resolution. The judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government, two state governments, the center and the state governments. Judicial review. The judicial has the power to declare a law unconstitutional if it believes that the law passed by the parliament is violating the basic structure of the constitution. Upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. Supreme Court of India. This is the highest court of India and is located in New Delhi. According to the Constitution of India, the Supreme Court is the guardian of the Constitution and the highest court of appeal. The litigation process. There are two different types of legal sections in India, civil and criminal. Civil law. It deals with disputes over money, property and social matters. Example, disputes relating to land, rent, marriage dispute, etc. A petition has to be filed before the relevant court by the affected parties. Sentence awarded in the form of money remuneration and as per the petitioner's claim. Criminal law. It deals with conducts or acts that the law defines as offences. Example, theft, murder, women harassment, etc. It usually begins with logic of an FIR, that is first information report, with police investigation, after which a case is filed in the court. Punishment is awarded if proven guilty. The accused is sent to jail. Independent and impartial function of judiciary. The framers of the Constitution established independent and impartial judiciary in India. Independence of judiciary is important for the purpose of fair justice. Democratic country like India, judiciary is a custodian of rights of citizens. Therefore, the framers of the Indian Constitution at the time of framing of our Constitution were concerned about the kind of judiciary our country should have. This concern of the members of the Constituent Assembly was responded by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the following words. There can be no difference of opinion in the House that our judiciary must be both independent of the executive and must also be competent in it. And the question is how these two objects can be secured. An effective judiciary should be independent as well as accountable. The independence of the judiciary is the independence of the exercise of the functions by the judges in an unbiased manner, that is, free from any external influence. In this session, we learnt about evolution of the judicial system, the need for the independent judiciary, and the difference between civil and criminal law. Thank you.